equation? What will be the value of R? Russell?
7 po.
Okay, 7 talaga? 7
7
monkeys?
units.
Okay, that will be 7 units. Very good. Next, how about this? Ah, yeah, Disha, go.
Sir, 2 square root of 5 po.
Okay, 2 square root of 5. Do you agree sa ating class president that this is 2 square root of 5? Good morning, Edisha. ah, may gusto
Sir,
tumagal?
10 po.
Oy, naku, naging 10. Nagbago na ang isip ni Edisha. Ah, daydreaming pa si Edisha. Marco, anong sagot natin dito sa item 3?
2 square root of 5 units po.
Nako, 2 square root of 5 units talaga. Very good kayong dalawa ni Edisha.
Ay, ay.
Cecilia, ano sagot mo?
25 units.
Nako, 25 units naman to isa. Pagbubuhalin ko kayong tatlo. Isipin na mabuti, square root ng 50. Paano natin sinisimplify yung radicals? Princess?
5 squared of 2 units.
Ayun, baliktad. Bakit 5 square root of 2 at hindi 2 square root of 5 saka yung 25? Nasagot ng mga unang naging answers natin kanina. Remember, di ba, in radicals, pagka meron akong square root of 50, wala siyang perfect root, right? So, ang gagawin natin, we find the factor of 50 na meron siyang perfect root. At ano yung factor na yon? That is square root of 25 times 2. So, ngayon, yung factor natin, itong 25, meron na siyang perfect root. Correct? So, ito yung ilalabas natin dun sa radicals kasi may perfect root na siya. So, ano ang square root ni 25? So, that will give us 5. Sino may iwan sa loob na radical? So, square root of 2. Gets? Nagkabaliktad na yung sagot ni Edisha at ni yung naunang tatlo. Okay? So, 5 square root of 2 ha. And then, don't forget the word. Yung special word na ginagamit natin para dito ay units. So, 5 square root of 2 units. All clear? Okay, next. Last one. How about this? Miriel.
Sir, 3 square root of 3 units.
Okay, so clearly ito ay 3 square root of 3 units. Kasi ang factors ng 27 ay 9 times 3. So extract natin yung square root ng 9, magiging whole number, that is 3 square root of 3. Okay? Okay, review? Na-review kayo rin sa circle with center at the origin? Ngayon, tuloy natin sa equation ng circle when the center is at HK. So what do you mean by circle when the center is at HK? Ibig sabihin, the center is away from the origin. Umalis siya rin sa home base niya. Ang home base si origin, di ba? So ibig sabihin, yung center ng circle, it may be in quadrant 1, in quadrant 2, in quadrant 3, in quadrant 4. Pwede yung center nandun mismo sa axis, pwedeng nasa y-axis, pwede nasa x-axis. So yun yung rule ng center at HK. Ibig sabihin, the center is no longer at the origin. Okay, just like yung picture natin dito sa baba. Ayan yung mga circle when the center is not at the origin. So how do we name? Ang objective lang naman natin, parang tayo, may kanya-kanya tayong pangalan. Ako si Sir Ben, ikaw si Edisha, siya si Cecilia, and so on. Ganon din sa circle, binibigyan mo lang ng pangalan. Okay? Sino yung circle na yan? Si x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared yan. So how do we rename or how do we give name naman kapag yung center is at HK? So ito naman, the quantity of x minus h squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So what's the difference? Ano nangyaring difference dun sa unang formula? Nagkaroon lang ng minus h dun sa x, nagkaroon lang ng minus k dun sa y. Pero ganun pa rin yung kanyang form. Pythagorean pa rin. X squared plus y squared is equal to r squared pa rin. Okay, clear? So example tayo, number 1. So what will be the standard equation of the circle satisfying the condition given that center is at 2, 3 and radius of 6 units? So we follow whatever yung formula na given para mabigyan natin ng pangalan yung circle. Then we simply sub the value. So yung center, gagawin natin siyang HK. Yung first coordinate, siya yung H. Yung second coordinate, siya yung K. So ngayon, isasub lang natin sa formula. So this becomes HI2. So yung K ay 3. And then yung value ng R is 6. Okay? Once we sub, evaluate. Yung kagad sunod, evaluate mo na. Perform yung operation. So wala tayong isi-simplify sa x minus 2. Wala tayong isi-simplify sa y minus 3 as is. Isi-simplify natin yung right side ng equation, that is 36. Okay, then we make the illustration. Sa illustration dito, may correction lang ako. Hanggang ngayon pala, hindi ko pa nako-correct. Nakalimutan ko i-correct yesterday. Nasaan yung center natin? At 2, 3, di ba? Kasi illustration ko mali eh. Ano mali sa illustration ko? Ano kaya mali dyan?
Sir, nasa
Nakita niyo?
3-2 po.
Ayun, yung center ko nasa 3, 2. So nabaligtad ko yung x at y axis. Okay, so dapat yung center natin ay nasa 2, 3. Okay, so dapat nandito. Ito yung center, 2, 3. Tapos yung radius length natin, 6 units away sa center. So pag nag-draw ka, magbilang ka. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hanggang dito. Okay, 6 units din dito kung manual yung drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 6 units sa baba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 6 units dito sa left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ayan dapat yung mga radius length. So yung circle mo, pagka wala kang ginamit na drawing compass, ganito mangyayari sa circle mo. Magpapakahirap ka i-drawing ngayon yan. Ah. Okay? Lalo na ito, computer pa. Mukha bang circle? Di ba? Hindi. Okay, ayan yung relevance. Kaya pinabibili kayo ng drawing compass. Kasi gagamitin natin siya. Ha? Ito hindi ko na madaya eh. Ang hirap i-drawing ng circle. Pero ito yung picture, hindi ng actual circle, pero imaginary circle. Okay? Use your imagination para maging perfect siya. Clear po ba? Okay? Okay. Sige. Ayan na, kinorek ko ah. Oh, ganun din naman kami mga math teacher, nagkakamali rin kami. Hindi naman kami mga perpektong nilalang. Okay? Tulad niya, nag-prepare ako ng materials, mali yung illustration. Iko-correct nyo rin kami pag nakikita nyo nagkakamali kami. So, we can help one another. Oh, nagpapalusot lang ako. Okay? Sige, game. Burahin ko na to. Okay, next example na ako. Example 2. Para mapamiliarize lang tayo sa steps or sa processes. Center ngayon is at -2, -4 with radius of 3 units. So ako ulit, use the formula, sub the values, sub natin yung h, sub natin yung k, then sub yung radius. Then sabi ko, after substitution, evaluate. Evaluate natin yung sa x term. So this becomes now, kasi ito yung negative. So once distributed, negative times negative, magiging x plus 2. Same thing kay y. Negative at negative yan. So once distributed, magiging positive din. Then sa right side ng equation, that will give us 3 squared. So it will give us 9. So remember, in writing negative numbers, put them inside the parentheses para well-guided kayo. Para pag pinerform nyo siya, inoperate nyo siya, hindi kayo malilito. Okay? Clear po yung equation? And then figure out, the drawing mo lang yung circle. Ano yung tsura ng circle in number 2? Center at -2, -4 sa fourth quadrant. So that will be the center. Tapos ang radius natin 3 units away lang. 3 units up na lang ako. Then use my compass para magmukhang circle siya talaga. Okay. So yan po yung circle in number 2. Gets? Okay, last example para dito sa process na to. Center at -5, square root of 3. Then radius is square root of 2. Yung center ko is located in quadrant 2. So, dapat familiar din tayo sa signs ng per quadrant para alam mo saan siya ilolocate. Okay, -5 square root of 3 is in quadrant 2. So, nandun yung center. Ang radius natin ay square root of 2. Okay, so once again, paulit-ulit na processes lang. Formula, substitution, value ng h, sub yung value ng k, and then sub yung value ng r. Then evaluate. Okay, dun sa x term, meron tayong dalawang negative sign dyan. So negative times negative ulit, magiging positive. So y term, as is, kasi wala namang i-operate na sign. Then yung sa right side na equation, square root of 2 squared is 2. So done. Tapos na siya. Yan na yung pangalan ng circle. So ano itsura ng circle natin sa quadrant 2? Ang center, -5 square root of 3. Pagka radicals, ang rule natin, pagka i-draw natin sa Cartesian plane, dapat nakadecimal. Okay? So use our calculator, calculate yung square root of 3, so that is 1.73. Para ma-draw natin properly, nasan yung center. So the center is at -5 square root of 3. Okay, so nandyan. Next, ganun din sa radius. Dahil naka-radicals yung radius, approximate yung value 1.41 para makuha natin yung radius length. Ayan, yung kulay green. So that is 1.41 units away dun sa center. Then draw the circle. So notice, napakaliit ng circle kasi maliit yung value ng radius. So yung size ng circle nakadepend sa length ng radius. Okay, so that will be all for centers at HK. Clear po yung 3 first examples natin? Okay, sige. Next, saka tayo magre-review nito. Saan galing yung 1.73? Francis, sa calculator. Okay. Encode mo yung square root of 3 sa calculator, bibigyan ka niya ng sagot, 1.73 approximately. Okay? Kasi pag radicals, magka-calculate tayo para ma-draw natin siya ng tama sa graph. Okay, Frances? Frances, okay na. Sa chat, nag-chat ka eh. Kaya? Okay, sige. Distance formula tayo. Okay, familiar kayo with the distance formula? Hindi ko alam kung kahapon pinanood o inaral nyo na yung lesson. Pero are you familiar with it during your junior high school days? Kahit natandaan nyo lang na oo, na-discuss naman na to sa amin. Okay, good. Some of you nag-reply yes. Pero majority mukhang no. Okay, so paano ba kinakalculate yung distance formula? O paano kinakalculate yung distance between any 2 points on a Cartesian plane? Okay, so ganito po yung process. So the distance between any 2 points, sabi rito AB, which has a coordinate of x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2 is given by the following formula. Yung formula lagi natin nagro-root sa Pythagorean theorem. So ganun din yung formula rito. So that is d squared is equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Sabi ko d squared. Okay, hindi ko pa kasi sinisimplify equation wherein in-square root ko na yung right side. Para makita nyo na Pythagorean pa rin siya. Okay, d squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. Parang ganun lang yung formula niya. Okay, wherein yung x ay x sub 2 minus x sub 1 at yung y ay y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Okay, later sa illustration, makikita nyo yung right triangle. Okay? So, yan yung ating main formula. But do remember, mag-a-assign tayo ng values kay A as x sub 1, y sub 1, at dun sa second point as x sub 2, y sub 2. Kailangan tama yung pagkaka-assign natin nung values na x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay, let's have the example. Find the distance between the points A and B. Okay, so ganyan lang muna. Yung A in quadrant 3, yung B in quadrant 4. Gusto natin makuha yung length ng segment joining A to B. O kaya yung distance separating A to B. Okay, so how do we get the distance? First, syempre importante malaman natin yung coordinates. The coordinate of A is at -4, -3. The coordinate of B is at 4, 3. So once na-name na natin yung coordinates, then we assign yung representation natin sa formula. So sino yung x sub 1, y sub 1? Sino yung x sub 2, y sub 2? Yung question sa akin kahapon sa Messenger, ito po, sasagutin ko na. Okay, it doesn't matter kung sino i-assign mong first at yung second coordinates. Kasi in the end, you'll get the same answer. Okay? Again, it doesn't matter kung sino yung unang i-assign natin as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Because in the end, pareho lang yung makukuha nating sagot. Okay pa? Okay. Ngayon, ang assignment ko, for the benefit ng solution ko, si A, yung x sub 1, y sub 1, si B, yung x sub 2, y sub 2. So once identified na, saka natin i-sub sa formula. So yan po. So sino yung x sub 2 minus x sub 1? So kukunin natin dito, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So magiging 4 minus -4. Correct? Okay? Next, sino yung y sub 2 minus y sub 1? So it becomes 3 minus -3. So that is 3 minus -3. Okay, ganun palagi. Once na sinab mo na, evaluate mo na. So what is now 4 minus -4? So that will give us 8. So what is 3 minus -3? So that will give us 6. Kasi alam natin, negative times negative, magiging addition ng operation. Ganon din dito sa y. Negative times negative, mag-a-add lang yan dalawang numbers. Okay, then we squared the value, 64 and 36. Then we get the sum, 100. Then don't forget to take the square root. Kasi may radicals pa. So the square root of 100 will give us 10 units. So yan po yung length ng segment joining A to B. Okay? Question po. Saka dito sa illustration, nakita na natin yung right triangle nag-exist. Ayan. So yung distance pa lang kinukuha natin between points A and B, siya pala yung hypotenuse. Nakikita niya? Ito yung right triangle natin, di ba? Ito yung hypotenuse nyo, yung distance. Correct? Ito yung x value natin, no, yung horizontal. Ito yung x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Kasi minaminus natin yung x coordinates yung dalawang points na to. Then, ito yung y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Kasi minaminus natin yung y coordinates naman yung dalawang points na to para makuha mo yung length nito. Okay? Kaya yung formula nanggaling dito. D is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Pythagorean lang yung pinanggalingan ng formula. Okay? Gets po? Nagets ba ng class? Hopefully. Okay, sige, mag-practice tayo. Isa. Kayo naman dun sa number 2. Practice lang po. Find the distance between the points FB. F nasa second quadrant, B nasa fourth quadrant. Pangalan niya na anak ko, FB. Yung bunso. Si FB, Francis Benedict. Okay? Pangalan ng dalawang santo yon. Pope Francis at Pope Benedict. Doon namin kinuha yung pangalan niya. Okay? Wala lang. Sinare ko lang. Sige, pa-compute na po yung distance between FB. Tama yung coordinates mo. Sige, proceed. Eliza.
Wait, sasabi ba po yung answer?
Mamaya na.
Ay, mamaya.
Nag-release ka na dahil gusto mo na sumagot?
No. Kala ko po kasi pagkatapos ng sound.
Pag natapos na. Mamaya. Okay, sige. Tapos na? So, kung may sagot kayo, paki-chat nga po sa chat box natin kung ano yung nakuha yung distance from FB. Mhm. 7.81 sabi ni Kevin, 61 sabi ni Sophia, 7.81 si Edisha. Okay, may 2.23 naligaw kay Alay. 7.81 majority. Okay, 7.81. Sigurado kayong 7.81? Square root of 61 or 7.81. Ayun, sigurado yun. No? Decimals and radicals. Ayan, sigurista. Si Miriel. Okay. Sige, mukhang majority naman nakasunod at nakakuha ng tamang sagot. So let's see kung 7.81 talaga o iba yung sagot. Okay? So the distance between FB to negative 3, 4 and to negative 2. So ang assignment ko si F yung x sub 1, y sub 1, si B yung x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay, possible na magkaiba tayo ng assignment, right? So sabi ko it doesn't matter kasi at the end, pareho lang tayo ng magiging sagot. So yung formula, follow, evaluate, add. So the answer is square root of 61 or 7.81. Okay? Pero remember yung decimal answer natin kapag nag-graph na tayo ha. Pag hindi tayo nag-graph, as is yung sagot natin sa square root of 61. Yung simplest radical form. Gets? Po? Okay? So dito dapat square root of 61 lang tayo muna. Okay? Okay? Okay, yun. Naintindihan naman. Ngayon, bakit ko nireview yung distance formula? Kasi gagamitin natin siya rin sa problem natin sa circle. Like this. What is the equation of a circle with center at 1, 1 and passes through the point negative 2, negative 3? Okay, so sa ganyan type of problem, hindi mawawala yung distance formula. Kasi ang given dito, yung center at saka yung point on the circle. Okay, so given yung center saka point on the circle. So, kung yan yung center, siya yung papangalanan ko ngayon x sub 1, y sub 1. Then, yung pico, yung point on the circle is x sub 2, y sub 2. Bakit? Kung kailangan kunin yung distance between CP, anong relevance niyan dun sa equation? Bakit kailangan natin kunin yung distance ng CP? Japet.
Sir, yung distance between CP is the radius of the circle.
Okay, so ano relevance ngayon ng radius sa pagkuha ko ng equation?
Since in the equation there is the radius, it is kasama po.
Ganda ng boses talaga ni Japet. Okay. Di ba it is necessary for us to get the center and the radius for us to form the equation? Yung kasi yung relevance nun, di ba? As long as meron kang center at ng radius, mabibigyan mo ng pangalan yung circle. Correct? Kaya kailangan kong kunin yung distance between CP because the distance between point C and P represents the radius. Gets? Ngayon, paano makukuha? Distance formula. Kasi yung C at P, 2 points yan sa Cartesian plane. So, ngayon, isasub ko lang sa formula. Then, i-evaluate ko yung kanilang sum. 25. Then, we get the square root of 25. So, that is 5 units. Tapos na. Okay, meron na akong radius. So, dahil meron na akong radius, now, i-pair ko na siya sa center. Kasi ang center ko is at 1, 1. So, using the center and the radius, kasi alam ko yung distance na na-compute ko is my radius. Ito yung circle natin. Okay? So, gagawan ko na equation. Okay? Radius is 5 units. Yung solution ko sa step 1. Yung center ko, ikakopy ko lang, 1, 1. Then, isasub ko na siya rin sa main formula natin. So, substitution na lang. So, yan yung equation ng circle. Clear po? When to use yung distance formula? Gets naman? Okay, sige. Sa inyo ulit ito isa. Ano nang lagi? Practice ulit. Pakibigay yung equation ng circle. Do it as a practice kasi kailangan nyo ng practice. May sagot na yung Sophia. Tinype niya na. Sige, wait lang natin iba, Sophia. Okay, answers are coming in. Sige, let's see. So who would like to explain your answer? Dito, isa-isa. Paki-explain sa akin yung processes na ginawa mo. Raise your hand. A volunteer. Explain nyo lang sa akin yung process na ginawa na. Sige, bawi, Edisha. Let's begin.
Sir, yung A po is 2 and -1, tapos 3 and 4 po. So,
Okay.
2 and -1 po, yung x1 and y1 po.
Okay.
And 3 and 4, yung x2 and y2.
Okay.
Tapos, substitute po, so 3 minus 2, x2 minus x1, plus quantity of 3 minus 2 squared plus 4 minus -1. So, makakancel, magiging 1 po yung 3 minus 2. Tapos, yung 4 minus -1 is magiging 5. So, magiging 6 po siya. 1 squared is 1. Tapos, 5 po is 25 squared.
25.
So, 25 plus 1 is 26. So, yung equation po niya is quantity of x minus 2 squared plus quantity of y minus 1 squared equals 26.
Okay, sa equation ng binigay ni Edisha, akala ko hanggang distance pa lang. Okay, sige. Pero yung representation niya, okay, tignan nyo, it's not similar to mine. Ako ginawa kong P, x sub 1, y sub 1. Yung C, ginawa ko x sub 2, y sub 2. Just to show you na kahit na magkaiba tayo ng representation dito, pareho lang yung makukuha natin sagot. Pareho lang naman kami nakuha ni Edisha, di ba? So, possibly, ganun din yung inyong representation. Yung C nyo, yung x sub 1, y sub 1. Yung P nyo, yung x sub 2, y sub 2. But in the end, look at the answer. Pareho lang square root of 26. Nagets po? Okay, next. Binigay na rin ni Edisha yung kanya equation, which is correct naman. Okay, so yung C at R, gagamitin ulit natin. Then yung final answer natin becomes the quantity of x minus 2 squared plus the quantity of y plus 1 squared is equal to 26. Without radicals na yun nasa right side kasi in-squared na natin yung square root of 26. Is it clear, guys? Nagets pa? For my last example, isa na lang. I-recall din natin yung concept ng midpoint formula. So we have the distance formula, we have the midpoint formula. Lagi yung dalawang topic na yan, laging magkasama yan pagka ang pinag-aaralan ay analytic geometry. So hindi nawawala yan. Okay? So paano ginagamit yung midpoint formula? From the word itself, midpoint, ibig sabihin, we get the middle point or we get the exact half nung segment na kino-consider natin. Paano ba natin kinukuha yung kalahati? Di ba from the word itself, half nga? So ibig sabihin, we divide the x coordinates by 2, we divide the y coordinates by 2. Para makuha mo exact middle, divide both the x and y coordinates by 2. So yun yung midpoint niya. And that will be given by the formula x sub 1 plus x sub 2 divided by 2. Then, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 divided by 2. Siyempre, again ulit, nandyan ulit si reminders. Ikaw ang mag-a-assign ng coordinates ulit. Kung sino yung x sub 1, y sub 1, sino yung x sub 2, y sub 2. Kagaya sa distance, wala ring effect kung magkaiba tayo ng representation. Why? Kasi ang operation ay addition, di ba? Commutative ang addition. So yung x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is the same as x sub 2 plus x sub 1. Pareho lang ng sagot yun. Nagets po? Okay, so now, practicein natin ngayon yung midpoint muna bago natin siya i-apply dun sa problem natin sa circle. Ito yung example natin. Find the midpoint of the segment joining AB. Ano yung exact midpoint nito? Yung A in quadrant 3, yung B in quadrant 1. Okay, so ako muna. Find the coordinates. Assign yung x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So after getting the coordinates, after ko na-assign yung values, then saka ko siya isa-sub sa formula. Okay, i-add ko yung parehong x coordinates, i-add ko yung parehong y coordinates. Then whatever yung sagot, we divide it by 2. Okay, so yung 2 over 2 will become 1, yung 1 over 2 is still 1 over 2. So the exact midpoint is at the point 1 and 1/2. Looking at the graph, o tignan niyo yung line segment, di ba tamang-tama naman, nung kinonect ko yung A at B, yung exact midpoint niya nandun sa point na 1 and 1/2. Dun siya nakalocate. So yun po, yung pagkuha ng midpoint. Okay? Gets po? Ipasok natin siya sa lesson ulit. Saan ko siya i-apply pagdating dun sa mga problems related dun sa ating inaaral sa circle? Sa gantong type of problems naman siya papasok. Write the standard equation of the circle given the diameter with endpoints -2, 1, and 4, 3. Alam natin yung diameter, ni-review natin yan, di ba? The diameter is the longest chord of a circle and the only chord that passes through the center. Tama? Okay? So kung yan yung endpoints ng diameter, ibig sabihin yung endpoints niya nasa circle. Correct? Okay? So ngayon, kung yan po yung ating diameter, anong nire-represent ng midpoint ng diameter? Ano ang nire-represent ng midpoint ng diameter, Sofia? Sofia?
Ay, sir, di po ako sure.
Sige, anong sagot mo?
Yung center or origin po.
Okay. Yung center, but not the origin. Okay? Kasi ang layo ng origin, anak ko. Okay? So, yung midpoint ng kahit na anong diameter ay yung center. Okay? Ha? Magkaiba yung center, magkaiba yung origin, ha? Okay? So, bakit ngayon natin kailangan kunin yung midpoint? Kasi nga, yun yung nagre-represent ng center ng diameter. At para mabuo ko equation, kailangan ko yung center at yung radius. Okay? So, step 1 natin, find the center muna. Kasi wala pa tayong center at radius sa problem, di ba? Binigay lang sa problem yung endpoints ng diameter. So, step 1, find the center by using the midpoint formula. Okay, so applying yung midpoint formula, so midpoint, add ko yung x coordinates, add ko yung y coordinates, divide that by 2, then get the results, yung resulting equation. So that becomes 1 and 2. Kasi 2 over 2 saka 4 over 2. Nagets po. Since this is the midpoint, so this will represent the center. So na-solve ko na yung center sa step 1. What will happen ngayon sa step 2? Ano ngayon yung second procedure ko? After doing this, nakuha ko na yung center. So what? Paki-explain sa akin yung next step. Anong gagawin ko na? Kailangan kong bumuo ng equation. May center na ako. So ano pa kulang? Okay, sige. Carl.
Yung distance, sir.
Yung distance ni Carl.
Distance ng point A at B, sir.
Yung distance ng buong points A at B, bakit? Pag nakuha ko yung distance ng buong point A to B,
Nakuha yung radius, sir.
Paano ko makukuha yung radius doon?
Yung diameter na papasok doon sa point, yun yung Yung distance na papasok dun sa midterm, yun yung magiging diameter ng circle, sir.
So yung buong diameter na yan, yun yung gagamitin ko para ma-form yung equation. Ano lang kailangan ko sa equation, Carl? Yung diameter o yung radius?
Diameter, sir.
Diameter ang kailangan ko sa equation? Hala, si Carl. Di ba, Carl, ang kailangan natin para mabuo yung equation ay center at radius. Correct, Carl?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hindi yung buong diameter pero in a sense, pwede yung sinasabi ni Carl as a solution. Sige, Carl, paki-unmute na yung mic na. Okay? Pwede mong kunin yung distance no AB. Pag nakuha mo na yung distance ng diameter, so anong gagawin mo next? I-divide mo na lang by 2. Di ba yung half ng diameter is the radius? Nagets nyo, guys? Okay? Pwede yon. Pwede nyo kunin yung distance ng diameter between AB o yung segment joining AB. Pero yung sagot mo, i-divide mo by 2 para makuha mo yung R. Okay? Sabi ko nga, in math, pwede magkaiba-iba tayo ng solution, pero isa ng sagot. Iba-iba lang ng dinaanan. Pero ano yung pinaka-logical solution natin dito? Dahil meron na tayong center, so obviously, gagamitin ko na lang yung center saka any point on the circle. Correct? Para makuha ko yung radius. Yung radius na kagad. Hindi na ako magdi-divide ng 2 para makuha yung diameter pa. Okay? So yung step 2 ko, kukunin natin yung radius length. Okay? Gagamitin ko yung center saka either point A or point B. Mamimili ka lang na isa para makuha mo yung radius length. So ang ginamit kong solution, yung point C at yung point B. So i-apply ko ngayon dito yung distance formula. Kasi yung distance between C to B is the radius. Nagets? So by using distance formula ngayon, makukuha nating radius has a length of square root of 10 units. Okay, pero as I've said, sinabi ko nga kanina, yung method ni Carl, okay din. Pwede mong gamitin yung distance ng A to B. But don't forget, divide your answer by 2. Para makuha mo yung R, pareho lang makukuha ang R nun, square root of 10 units din. Okay? At saka yung may solution din, from C to A, kung C to A ang gagamitin mo, square root of 10 units pa rin yung magiging sagot. Okay? Eliza, yes.
Sir, nag-brown out daw po kay Antonio Haller.
Okay lang, sige,
Kaya daw po
magchat-chat.
nag-lead daw po
Siya na lang mag-explain ng sarili niya sa akin. Magchat-chat na lang sa akin yan mamaya. Thank you for informing me. Sige. Kala ko naman dito sa dinidiscuss ko, alay. Natakot ako. Okay, clear po guys. Step 1 natin, midpoint. Step 2 natin, distance. Yung step 1 natin para makuha yung center. Yung step 2 natin para makuha yung radius. Ano ngayon yung step 3? Para buuin na equation. Di ba? From step 1 and 2, nakuha ko yung center at radius. So now, equation na ako. O, finish na. So yan lang po yung mga types of problems na possible ma-encounter nyo dealing with this lesson. When to use yung midpoint, when to use yung distance, and when to use both midpoints and distance formula. So that will be all. And that will be the conclusion of my discussion. Yan na po.